All right, so we're back in 2025. Our goal at Lift Threads is to continue with our podcast, A Story Behind the Shirts, where we bring on our athletes, Cade Uluave, and our business owners that we do work for, and we talk to them about, why we do the business why we do their shirts, or why we do their apparel, their promotional products, or just about their, like Cade. We're going to talk to him about college football, because the changes in college football over the past 3 years have been unbelievable. And you've lived through 3 years of like the changes from players can't even take like a bus ride from someone to now dudes are getting checks for $7 million. And so story behind the shirts is we just want to talk to people and just kind of get to know our athletes and some of our businesses and get to know the struggle. Like Cade's starting middle linebacker for Cal. And I like to hear what he did to prepare for it, what the crazy stuff is, what the struggles, the trials are. So, but first, Cade, introduce yourself a little bit and let us know who you are, where you came from, and then we'll dive into it.
Yeah, like you said, Cade Uluave, play inside linebacker at the University of California, Berkeley. Going on my third year there. It's gone by too fast. Yeah. It was like I just, left and was a freshman there. And so originally from South Jordan, Utah, went to Mountain Ridge High School, played running back, linebacker there for 4 years and loved it. Was able to – fortunate enough to go play Division I football, signed with Cal, and it's been a great experience. I've loved it, and it's paid off, and it's been a blessing for sure.
Dude, I want to talk about how you and I met. So we're in – do you remember this?
Yeah.
We're in St. George. We're at the gym, and I remember seeing your poster, actually.
Okay, yeah.
And I'm like – and this Lift Threads was brand new, like maybe a couple months old, like brand new. And I'm like – I told my wife, I'm like, I know him. Where do I know him from? I know him. Yeah. And I remember you were just throwing around weight, and I'm just like – dude, he's got to be someone like, and then it clicked. I remember I saw it was like an all-state. You were all-state, right? Or like a second, yeah. Who knows? And there was a poster, and your face was on it. And so I just walk up to you, do you remember? And I'm like, hey, this is weird, but do you play football? Yeah. And then we just started talking, dude. It ended up being like you're one of the chillest, most down-to-earth, humble dudes. And I remember I was talking to you like, dude, you need to go to Utah. Yeah. You need to go to Utah. And you're like, hey, they had their chance, bro. Yeah. So anyway, that's how I met Cade. I picked him up at the gym. Yeah. He's tough. He's strong. If you follow him on Instagram, give your Instagram out because people can follow you. But he posts a lot of him working out at Cal. Do you have a team that follows you around there?
Yeah. We got a creative crew. They do a great job.
Yeah.
They'll follow us, make some edits, take a bunch of pictures. And so, anytime they have some pictures up, we can download them right to our phone, post them, everything. So they do.
You seem to get a lot.
Yeah, it's great.
Because you're like, you're a good looking dude. You're strong, and like you're animated when you play.
For sure,
it's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. So,
but what's your Instagram handle? We'll put it on Sid, right? Okay, so what's your Instagram? handle?
Instagram handle is Cade Uluave _.
Okay,
so just straight up
and follow him. But it's a good follow because it kind of shows a little bit. You don't post a ton, but like into your workouts, like how intense. I remember watching one where you're doing push-ups and then you jumped right into another workout and you guys were screaming and everyone was trying to scream.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It gets, man, these workouts in the summer and the winter, they get real. And so it's fun. Everyone's just pushing themselves, getting better and just, and the energy that, once you have good energy in the weight room, it feeds off on everyone. Everyone wants to push more weight. Everyone wants to get stronger. Everyone wants to get faster. And so it's just a cool. Oh, that's awesome. It's cool. I mean, the workouts, sometimes they suck. So sometimes you need that energy to get through them. You know what I'm saying? So. Well,
let's start back. So you went to Mountain Ridge High School.
Yeah.
I coach at Riverton. Whatever, Mountain Ridge, whatever. It's fine, whatever. Because you made an all right choice. Tell us at what point in your high school, and I know you were an outstanding high school player. At what point in your high school career were you like, oh, I can get college paid for? Like, at what point did you start realizing, like, oh, I am that good that I can go play college ball? Yeah. And then what did you start doing to prepare for that?
It was, man, at Mountain Ridge, it was crazy. Because my very first year at Mountain Ridge playing, I was a freshman, still, Utah was still in the middle school at the time. Uh-huh. And I'm in Harriman boundaries. So, all my friends at middle school, they're going to Harriman. And I'm the only one going to Mountain Ridge.
What made you decide to go to Mountain Ridge?
Just like a lot of things. My sister was going there. She went to Harriman for a year, met a lot of friends. They all went to Mountain Ridge. My sister was going there. So I was like, I'll follow her. And then I wanted to start fresh.
Yeah.
Harriman, they've been around for a while. And so I was like, I want to go and, be on a new team and start my own journey.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I get to Mountain Ridge and I'm a freshman, don't really know what's going on, but I'm just trying my hardest and end up, playing varsity. And it was great. I kind of went all over. I played from DN to, I was offensive lineman. I started offensive
Really?
lineman, in my freshman year. And so, like, it was crazy. But my freshman year, we went 0-11. Didn't win a single game. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm like, this sucks. I was like, not winning sucks. And I was like, I don't even know if football is, a future.
Did you play other sports?
I did track. That was COVID year. So track got cut off and everything. And
dude, COVID year, man. Yeah. That's a whole nother podcast.
Man, crazy.
That's a whole nother 30 minutes, bro.
Oh man, the COVID is nuts.
Wait, that was when you were a freshman, was COVID year?
Yeah, so that was the freshman. So I played that freshman year, and then in the spring,
COVID hit.
That's when COVID was. And so then, I was 0-11. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if I can do this. Like, am I going to have to transfer somewhere else?
Yeah.
Am I going to have to put more time into another sport? So I didn't know. And then actually COVID was a good thing for me because, we got all that time off. Our coach rented us weights. We was able to take weights home. And so
really?
I had a barbell and some dumbbells and some bands in my backyard. I'm out here just lifting, doing all that. And I had nothing else to do, right? You're locked down. I'm just out here lifting in my backyard.
Dude, so I want to something funny, like success leaves clues, right? Like I love that quote. And I'll bet if you go to every other freshman that year, I bet they had the weights, but I bet they weren't you. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's not, to me, every time I talk with someone who's at a, NFL level or a D1 college level or in sport or in business, they're killing it. Like, it didn't just happen. Like you said that you were excited because you were able to go in your backyard and train. And I'm like, I wonder how many other freshmen were, they said it, right? They had the weights, but we're doing it, but you were actually doing it. Like, guys, success leaves clues. Anyway, sorry. I think that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. You're actually doing it.
So it was cool that we were able to get those weights and work out. And so that's kind of where, I started just getting real strong, just like, because I had nothing else to do. Right.
Yeah.
And so then sophomore year comes around, changed positions. I still playing DM, but I changed to running back.
Okay.
I went from offensive line to running back,
that's crazy.
Big jump. And so, I loved it. I'm playing D end, and
so you're going both ways at this point, right? You're playing the whole game,
basically.
85 plays a game.
Yeah, it was crazy. And so then I'm playing running back. I'm loving it. Like, and I'm balling out. I'm scoring touchdowns and stuff. And everyone's like, "Hey, who's this kid?"
It's a sophomore.
Yeah, sophomore.
Yeah.
And still playing D end, and both sides of the ball, and it just created like more opportunity for me. You know what I'm saying? And so right after the season, because there's a rule in the NCAA where you can't really reach out to a recruit until their junior year, like before their junior year. So like right after sophomore year, it's still kind of like that gray area, right? But they can contact your high school coach. So that's what they were doing. So Utah State, that was the first school to be like, hey, all right, we see this kid, right? And so he started talking to my coach, one of the guys from Utah State, and he's like, hey, like, we want to learn more about this kid. So I remember my coach just being like, hey, like, make sure you just keep your grades up, and I was kind of clicking. I was like, oh, okay, I see. And then one day I'm at baseball practice. I was playing baseball my sophomore year, and
for the high school?
For the high school,
okay,
yeah. And so then I get a call from my coach. We're out here like doing field work or something. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I get a call from my coach saying, hey, Cade, like, can you come down to the weight room? Like, we want to talk to you real quick. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure, coach. And so I walked down there, and he's like, hey, like, there's just someone on the phone that wants to talk to you. And I was like, okay. And so then all of a sudden, I hop on the phone, and it's like, hey, Cade, how's it going? This is Coach DJ from Utah State. And I was like, whoa. I was like, oh, hey, coach. Like, all nervous awesome. And stuff. And he's just talking to me, and he's like, we love you, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, we want to offer you a full ride scholarship.
And that was just after your sophomore year?
Yeah, just after
How many touchdowns did you have your sophomore year?
Oh, shoot.
Do you remember? A lot.
Probably
enough.
Probably a few, yeah.
And then, but were they looking at you defense or offense, or did you know at that time?
I didn't even know.
You're just like, dude, I was done.
I was like, oh, man. And he called me. He said, we want to offer you. And I was like, I think I probably stood there for 10 seconds, didn't say a word, just trying to process it all. And I'm just like, thank you. Like, it means a lot. And then the call ends, and then my coach is like, congrats. And I was just,
that's so cool.
Like, it kind of just clicked for me. Like, you know what? This is my future. Now, like, instead of not really knowing what's going to go on, like, now, like, I'm going to go.
If you needed any extra motivation, now you're like, dude, I'm going to the next level.
Yeah.
I gotta prepare.
Definitely. Yeah. And so, like, it was great.
Did you keep playing baseball that year?
Yeah, I finished playing baseball.
The year?
Yeah. Cool. So that was cool. And I mean, I was all right.
Yeah.
I only played my sophomore year, and then I went back to track my junior and senior year. So, and then just from there, it's just kind of was all over, finished the sophomore year, and then went into junior year, had a great year, some more offers coming in, Cal, UCLA, a few other guys. And then that's when I kind of had to start selecting a few schools.
So you go through your junior year, crush it, senior year, crush it. When you're deciding on where to go, what are you taking into it? Like, what's in your thought process? Because at that point, NIL wasn't quite yet a thing, or was it?
That was like the first year, but it was all kind of new.
It was just new, and so, like, you still were a little bit shady on what you could and couldn't do.
And like me being a freshman coming in, I wasn't the highest recruited kid in the state. I wasn't like, obviously I got great opportunities.
Yeah.
NIL wasn't even on the table.
So at that point, what are you looking at? Like, just the best school for you? Because I know your dad's an educator.
Yeah.
Were you looking at more of like, I'm going to go, God bless me with this gift, and obviously you worked hard. It wasn't just like a gift, like you worked your butt off to get there. Are you looking at like, I'm going to go get college paid for so that I can get a good degree and get a good job? Or were you looking at like program, like, no, I want to go dominate and I want the best program? Like, what in your thought process as you're getting these offers, how are you choosing?
Yeah, it was definitely an experience where like it was hard.
Yeah.
Because when you go and visit a school when you're being recruited, they're going to roll out the red carpet.
Yeah.
Right. They're going to show you all the bells and whistles, everything. But once you get on campus, that red carpet's in the closet. You know what I'm saying? So it's not there anymore. And so then it's real life. And so for me, when I was getting recruited, I kind of wanted to feel like, what my life would actually be like as a student athlete there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, because, like, they'll take pictures of you, they'll hype you up, all this stuff. But once you're there, you're just another guy on the team. And so for me, when I was deciding, it came down to a lot of things. I think I only had 2 in-state offers, Utah State, Weber State, and so I was like, both those programs are great programs.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, the best opportunity for me, I feel like, is out of state. That's just what I was thinking. And so it kind of came down to Cal and UCLA, Northern California versus Southern California. And so, it was a hard decision. I love UCLA, but I also love Cal. And so it was just a hard decision, but I chose Cal because the academics are great.
Yeah.
Football
program's great too.
Yeah. So if football doesn't work out in the future and stuff, you still have a great degree.
Yeah.
You're getting your school paid for. That's a blessing. You know what I'm saying? So, and then the defense, I really like Coach Sermon, our defensive coordinator at Cal. He's a great dude. Knows his stuff. Feel like I would fit in well there.
Your senior year of high school, did you move to middle backer at that point, or are you still defensive end?
Yeah. So my junior year, went to running back, inside linebacker.
Oh, okay.
That's it. Yeah. And then senior year, same thing.
Cool. So you were, and did they run the same defense there as you were in there? Did you have to learn some new stuff? I mean, obviously you're learning more because it's just opening up, right?
Yeah. So, man, I can't even tell you how different high school is from college.
What's the biggest difference?
Just everything is so technical and specific, right? In high school, you're playing linebacker. Your coach is telling you, "Hey, you're the hook curl," and you're like, "Oh, okay." And then in college, you get to high school and you have to know, all right, this is the formation. This is what they can run. Look at this. Look at the offensive linemen. What's their stances like? What's the receivers like? And you got to know all these route concepts. What they're trying to do, different types of runs. And so it's just a lot more technical, right? And so it's something that it takes time to learn. You know what I'm saying? And
you're just watching film, and it's like another job, right? Because you're also still going to school.
Yeah.
But then you're playing football like 24/7.
Yeah.
Anyone I know that's played college football at the level that you're playing at, they're summers, right? You're going at 6 a.m. They feed you. You're at the facility all day, right?
Yep.
Watching film, players meet. You have your meeting with like your defense, and then you break it down to like your backers meeting, all that stuff. You're there all day, right?
Yeah.
So
crazy. I
can only imagine. I have one of my favorite sayings is little hinges swing big doors. You're learning all the teeny tiny detail that might give you that little tiny advantage, right? Like,
yes.
And that's what you're learning for 15 hours a day.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's nuts. Like, even when we would break down film during the season, like there was just tiny little, like, what's the word? Tiny little,
tails.
Yeah, just kind of like little, like tells. Yeah, kind of
like his weight's forward. Like weight forward, weight back. Oh, he's pulling.
Tendencies.
Like, it's going to be a pass because he's got this, or like
we're playing a few teams. We're like, okay, if number 2's on the ball to the boundary, like he's going vertical, right? And so that's the things you got to think. That's crazy. Game. Like, so then you're out here looking at the offense.
Okay, so I've watched a few of your games. So when you're back there, now this is where it gets fun for me because I love this stuff. So you're back there, you're a middle linebacker, and I see you pointing like to a corner to your like DN, like, and you're talking, you're telling him the tells, right?
Yeah.
Hey, 2's back, he's going vertical, or like, hey, guards light, he's pulling, or guards heavy, he's coming at you.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. And you just notice all that stuff.
Yeah. So, and it's great because you would hope your teammates watch film,
Yeah.
right? So they know too. So then you all communicate.
Oh, that's wild.
So sometimes, I'll get a safety who's rolling down and he's like, hey, Cade, hey, look, he's winding back, And so I'm like, okay, I got you. And so like, you're all figuring it out together, right?
Oh, that's crazy.
It's awesome. And then there's a few defenses where, I need to talk to the corner or the safety or the other linebacker because, our jobs are working together and stuff. And so, but it's nuts. Like some people like watching film is like a quality that you can get good at. Some people are good at watching film. Just noticing, figuring out the details, right? For instance, Luke Kuechly. This dude, the way he separated himself from other people was in the film room. Really? This dude was like, I mean, obviously I don't know him. Yeah. I don't, but like from what I know and what I've heard and what I've seen, this dude was just grinding film and it understood it. Like he understood it. It clicked. Yeah. And so then he could go out on the field and be like, he could recognize the formation, recognize the down and distance, the situation, be like, oh, I already know. This is what they're doing. Yeah. So that's like crazy. I seen a clip where he was mic'd up. He goes to the sideline. He's telling his coach, "Hey, I saw this, and I already knew it was going to happen." And then everyone's like, "What?" So does that make you like, I'm doing that? Like I'm going to be that guy? Because he's he's great. He's a specimen. Like he's God given, but also his workouts insane. Yes. But then you look at like his mental preparation too. Like is that someone you're like, all right, same position, I'm doing that? Yeah. Like just like being. I don't think people realize like how important it is to be a student of the game. Yeah. If that makes sense. Oh, totally. Everyone wants to get big, strong, fast, and that's important. That's super important. But once you can put big, strong, fast with brains. I know what to do and I know what you guys are doing, that's when it's a game changer. Well, I bet too, that's when your teammates, hey Cade, what do you see? Oh, hey, where's this go? And you're like facilitating, because are you the signal caller on defense? Yeah, basically. When you're both the inside linebackers are pretty. The other inside linebacker actually had the earpiece. So he had the earpiece because he was to the field. Alongside the field, so he would tell everyone, hey, this is what it was. So then I was always to the boundary. So then I communicate to the boundary guys, boundary safety, boundary corner, and then he would communicate to the nickel corner safety on the other side. So a couple questions I would want to know if I was watching this podcast. Who is the hardest hitter you've ever gone against? Like the person where you're like, oh hell, this fullback, I don't even know, man. He's like lighting it up. Obviously that's a question that you probably are like, oh, there's a few. Yeah, there's a few dudes. There's been a few good running backs that we played that have been dogs. Or like a dude where you're like, I just tackled this guy. We were talking about Bears quarterback. You got a sack on him. Yeah, what moment were you like, I can't, like, this is cool. Like, I just tackled a dude who's like going to go get $25 million signing bonus in the NFL. Like, what experiences are those in the league that you've had so far that you're like, kind of like, oh, this is surreal. You came from South Jordan, Utah. I mean, there's a few guys actually in the league from South Jordan, Utah, the Lotulele, but I mean, not a ton, right? Yeah. And so like, kind of like, I came from small town Utah and now I'm playing on a biggest stage against Caleb Williams or against this guy. What, like some of those experiences where you kind of like, you sack someone or you get an interception and you just stand up and you see like 80,000 people cheering for you. Yeah. Like, what's that like? Like, what's it? It's surreal. Like, it's hard to put into words what you feel like when that happens. It's just, I remember USC, it was my first start ever. College. Were you freshman? Yeah, freshman. Oh, dude. First start against USC. This offense is nationally ranked. Yeah. They're just airing the ball out. They can run the ball. And so I'm in here as a freshman. I'm like, oh, all right, here we go. You know what I'm saying? And so, and then I get in there and then just everything just starts slowing down, clicking. And it goes from being nervous and timid and scared to being like, this is fun. Yeah. I'm having fun out here. This is enjoyable. And I remember kind of where my confidence went from here to here was USC. I remember we're in man coverage. There's two backs in the backfield, both of them split, and I'm in the middle. So a safety takes one of the running backs, and linebacker takes the other running back, and it's me and Caleb Williams looking right at each other, like straight on. Yeah. And at this point, we're kind of taught like you're a spy, you kind of hover, wait for the quarterback to do, and I just was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go. And so I went and I ran through, and my head hit the helmet, or my head hit the ball. Excuse me. He hit the ball and he fumbled. And so then all of a sudden me and him were scrambling for the ball, and I'm trying to get it. He's trying to get it. And then he slips through and he got it. And I was like, crap. But then I stand up and I just hear everyone just going nuts. And I was just like, this freshman that no one even knows. I'm just and all of a sudden, like, this is awesome. This is dope. Like, that's when it kind of clicked for me. Like, this is sick. My confidence went up.
Is that like something that's like almost addictive? Like I got to have that feeling again, man. Like I got to, every player, like I want that.
Yes. It is like I've never done any sort of drugs in my life, but I'm sure that's what it feels like. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so, but it's just, the feeling is unreal, and it's a cool experience. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, man, I just wish it was season already again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You just been off for like what, 2 weeks now?
Yeah. Something
Come
like
home for Christmas or whatever.
It's just a cool experience, and it's fun. It's just, it does take a lot out of you, but at the end of the day, it's like, you play football because you enjoy it.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't love football, you shouldn't be playing college football. You know what I'm saying? And so, but through the ups and downs, you got to stick with it. But it's just, it pays off.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
So college football, it's changed. Like we were just talking, and you played a bowl game.
Yep.
UNLV, phenomenal team this year. Like I don't know where they came from, but they all of a sudden are super good.
Good team.
And you were and we were talking about it, and unfortunately you didn't get the W. You were playing with a fourth string quarterback. You're playing with an old guard that decided to go play quarterback, something like that. But we talked, and something interesting about college football right now is, and tell me about this, but what you can. You got a text from starting quarterback. He says, "Hey, I'm entering the transfer portal. I'm not going to be playing." Like, what does that do to a team's confidence? What does that do to you? As like, I imagine he's a captain. I imagine he's led you guys through some workouts. I imagine he's led you guys to some game-winning drives. And then to have a guy like that send a text out to the key players, I'm sure, I don't know if he sent it to the whole team or just key players saying, "Hey guys, I'm doing what's best for me," which you actually said, like, it's good for him.
Yeah.
But it kind of left you guys, like, tell me the dynamic now with having your homies on the team. And all of a sudden, I mean, you probably, how many guys do you know that have entered the portal? Like, how does that make you feel? Like how does that dynamic work now?
It's crazy. The whole transfer portal, I think it's a great thing and it's a bad thing at the same time. It creates opportunities for people, but it also it can take away opportunities for people. Some people will hit the portal, they'll have a better career and go on, and good for them. And then some people enter the portal and it's just downhill from there, and they're not playing and stuff. And so it's a crazy experience. But like you were saying, just people hitting the portal is something that we got to get used to, I think.
Yeah.
Because back in the day, no one transferred. You
couldn't.
Like, and
if you did, you'd sit out.
Yeah.
And then you've wasted a year.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said scouts are looking at you sophomore year, freshman year. Like they're telling you, "Hey, you got to do this and this and this," right?
Crazy.
So what was your feeling when you got that text? Were you like, "Oh, dude, this is like a bowl game"? And then the second question to that is, how relevant are bowl games going to be?
Yeah, it's true. Like, I remember when our quarterback let us know, like, "Hey, I've decided to hit the transfer portal. Love you guys." Blah blah. Like, he was one of like the greatest dudes I ever met. Yeah, worked super hard. Led the team, and was just a good dude. And just loved football, loved being there, and he felt that the best opportunity for him wasn't at Cal. Yeah, and that's okay. But if you're on the team, you're like, that sucks. Yeah, because that's your guy. Yeah, that's the guy that you've done workouts with, went through fall camp with. Yeah, and now he's just gone. And so it sucks. Yeah, people are coming and going all the time, but it's just. But at the end of the day, you gotta wish them the best. Like, hey, bro, like I wish you the best.
And we were talking earlier, and the way that you for me, I would have some anger because I'm a competitive dude. You're a competitive. I know how competitive you get on the field, but like you handled it. Like you're like, no, dude, it was best for him. That's what's best for him. But like, are there guys in there that are like, screw that guy? Probably, like I mean, maybe they don't say it to you, but I would have a hard time, I think, with that because. And then as a coach, I mean, I coach 11-year-olds, different level, right? But even as a coach, you're like, man, what are we going to do? Yeah. Because you said the second string was hurt. Yeah. Then you went in with your third string. He got hurt. Yep. So then you had a freshman never taking a snap in college and didn't do great. Yeah. I mean, it's just hard. And like, how many players were missing from that bowl game? Because of the portal.
Because of the portal, I think we didn't have a whole lot. I think we had like 4 or 5, maybe.
4 or 5.
I mean, those are key players. Yeah. Quarterback, that's one of the most important players on the
field. Well, and if you're entering the portal, that means you're looking to go get picked up somewhere else, which probably means you're a decent player enough to be looked at to get picked up somewhere else.
So, and then it's just interesting.
And then the dudes not play too because they're like, I don't want to get hurt because I'm going to the draft. Yeah. So then you're missing more of your key players.
So it's crazy because like you'll be in these bowl games and half your team's not playing.
So how relevant do you think bowl games are going to be moving forward?
I don't know, quite honestly. I mean, you have those bowl games like in the college football playoff, obviously.
Well, the playoffs, I think. And I don't think
everyone plays.
Did anyone even hit the portal?
No.
Like, I don't think anyone in the playoffs hit the portal or even declared, right?
Yeah, no. But I think everyone in the college football playoffs is playing because obviously they want to win the national
I mean, that's a
championship.
big deal.
Yeah,
I mean, all of them are a big deal. Don't get me wrong. But I feel like 10 years ago, I mean, BYU, you go to the Las Vegas Bowl. I'm excited about it. We're flying out.
Yeah.
We're going to. I feel like BYU or Utah goes to the Vegas Bowl now, and it's like no one's playing. Like like you've got these guys. I mean, transferring out. I mean, Utah they had all their quarterbacks transfer. Isaac Wilson came back, but then they got that new guy with the new coach. I mean, every year it's going to be a completely different landscape and different team. And I feel like I didn't play anywhere near the level that you played, but you've got your boys, right? Like growing up, I played with the same group of dudes since I was 8 years old till we graduated high school.
Yeah,
you did the same but at that point, even in high school these days, man, like you dudes are transferring now. You have to sit out 5 games, but they're just transferring early, saying they're on the track team, missing 5 meets, and they're good to go.
Yeah.
So like, there's ways around it. But do you kind of feel like you're going to miss out on some of that bonding with the quarterback? So it was a good dude. Now he's gone.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I guess that's sports. I guess that happens. But like, what are your feelings towards all that stuff?
Yeah, it definitely is. It's interesting because you need that team chemistry,
Totally.
in order to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you got dudes coming in that have only been here for 2-3 months starting the season, because I mean the transfer portal is in April.
Yeah.
You start practices fall camp in August. That's a few months. You
right.
know what I'm saying? And so it went from being a few years. Like you'd have teams that would come together 3-4 years, and then you got
their recruiting class.
Yeah, all these seniors, all these dudes that are just dogs, and they know each other, and they know the defense. And now you have dudes where our quarterbacks from this school, our running backs from this school.
Yeah, it's hodgepodge.
And it's just all put together, and so it's hard. I mean,
and imagine too, you're one of the elite players on your team. You started since you were a freshman. Imagine if you're that dude kind of on the bubble. Like, and I mean, maybe it pushes them, right? But there's a possibility I might start next year because there's, 430 receivers and they start ranking people in the bubble, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's 430 receivers in the portal, and 76 of them are better than me. So then you start thinking like, man, if they pick up a few, am I going to get time? Right? Yeah. Like, I'm sure you don't worry about it because you're one of the top athletes and you've committed to Cal for the spring and stuff. But like, that's got to be another screw with people's heads saying, are they going to pick up someone better than me and I'm out?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I don't know.
And then that opens up a whole new cans of worms for high school recruiting.
Oh, yeah. Well, high school recruiting now, because they don't even start high school recruiting now. This is what I heard the other day, until they filled basically their roster with the portal, right?
Yeah.
And then they're starting to, unless you're like.
Every team.
Unless you're like.
For sure.
Dominant.
Yes. Like, for instance, Clemson last year didn't take one transfer portal dude.
Not one?
Didn't take one.
Did they lose any?
I mean, yeah, I'm sure they lost a bunch, but they didn't take one transfer portal. I think this year they brought in maybe a few guys because they realized.
What did they do? Just pick up high school kids?
All high school kids.
Really?
Yeah, that's what Clemson did last year.
That's kind of scary because you're just basically developing these high school kids to go to play for another team.
Yeah, crazy. And so, like, that's the world of college football now, is where the kids will commit to a school. They won't play because you have a transfer come in who's already played. Yeah. And he has experience. And obviously they're going to take the kid who has experience and has played football for longer over the brand new freshman. And then it's just like a loop. And then
that's crazy.
And then the freshman's
they're not getting the reps, so they're not getting the reps they need to be able to get better and better.
Exactly. It's nuts.
You came in at the perfect time.
Yeah.
Because as a freshman, you were able to prove yourself as a freshman that you could hang. And then you started every game except for the ones you were hurt this year, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you were out 3 or 4 games, you said, because of a broken bone.
Yeah,
which
sucked. Is what it is.
Yeah, dude, that's crazy. So, okay, so let's. I mean, what's like the next? So you're at Cal, you're starting middle linebacker. How does that like start? Now you start thinking like, I can hang at this level. I'm one of the elite athletes at this level. Do you start looking towards the NFL? Yeah. Do you start looking towards what you've got to do? Are you watching players in the NFL saying, I could be that guy?
Yeah, you definitely want. I mean, if you're good at football, you want to keep playing, right? I think that's everybody, and so it's crazy to that for some people that's a reality that like, hey, you're good enough to play football.
Well, I think that's you, right? Like, I mean, obviously, like, you probably tread lightly around the subject because I know, but dude, I've seen you play ball. Like, you're phenomenal.
Appreciate it.
Like, and you bring the heat, and you're a team player. You're a team guy, and I feel like all the highlights I see of you are you and your teammate coming around you? Like you're that leader, you're that dog, you're that guy that people are looking up to. Like, oh, Cade's got us. Like, you know, third and 3, Cade's got us. You know, like we're rallying around Cade's got us. You know what I mean? So, but like, is it hard not to like start kind of looking toward like staying where you're at, like staying present? Is it hard not to like start kind of gearing up towards that next step, or is that something you've got to do?
Yeah, I think it's a mixture of both. I think while you're in college, you need to focus on college, right? You're still part of this team. You're not a part of any other team, right? You're committed to that team, and and if you're one of those good players, you got to push your team to be better, right? And you got to make sure that, you know, your team's, you're hold accountable, responsible, and just getting better, right? And so then, but at the same time, I feel like personally, if you handle your business in college, that it will automatically just help you at the next level.
Totally.
If it's possible, you know what I'm saying? And so just like, you don't want to be thinking like, oh, I have to do this to go to the league or whatever. Yeah. Like you should just be worried on the present. If that makes sense.
Is it hard for you not to like kind of have wandering eyes a little bit saying, man, if I went and played middle linebacker for Ohio State, I'm for sure going to the league? Or I don't know, like, or are you like, no, I just need to be where I'm at and be the best at what I do where I'm at? Like, because I mean, it probably goes without saying there are some schools that get more looks from NFL scouts than other schools, right? Like the two schools playing the national championship.
Yeah.
So like, and I don't know, what was Cal end up ranked this year? Did they end up ranked?
No, I don't
think so. Not this year.
Yeah.
But so like I mean, obviously next year they'll be up there, but like is that hard not to like entertain? Cause we don't even talk about it. I'm sure schools are contacting you left and right, cause you're a great athlete.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is interesting how it all works. But I would say if you're a good player, they'll find you.
Yeah.
Right. Because you'll see dudes every once in a while get drafted from, you know, a small little school, and you're like, oh.
When you look at like, when I'm watching these NFL games, it says where their colleges, and like, I mean, there was a dog last night who came and made up a play in the Bucs, and he was from Northern Illinois State. And I'm like, I didn't even know they played football in Northern Illinois State, but he made it because he just stood out from where he was at, and then he worked hard. Dude, that's awesome, man. Well, Cade, what, like, if you were to give some advice to, I mean, and like, there's so many levels of advice you can give. Like, what's the main thing of advice you could give to young athletes? Because I know kids who look up to you. I posted a picture of you, and I got your neighbors commenting, like people commenting that know you, that know you're a good dude. But like, what's something you would tell, like, my son's 11. I mean, I love when he gets to talk to some of the people that I know through my work. What's one thing you would tell those kids, or even kids in high school that are wanting to hit that next level?
You know, I would say just keep showing up. That thing is that's huge. Yeah. You know, sometimes the hardest part of a workout is getting there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Once you're there, you're there and you're playing, right? And so, and it's all a mental game, right? And so being like, you know you have a hard workout coming up. Are you going to be like, oh, this workout's going to suck, blah, blah. Are you going to be like, this is making me better. Yeah. This is making me a better athlete so I can prove myself on the field, so I can do my thing, right? And so that's huge. And I think that's some advice I'd give to kids, you know, just saying, like, just keep showing up. Yeah. Keep having fun, keep doing your thing, and it'll work out for you, right? Don't be so worried about, oh, am I ranked a 4-star, 3-star, or the media or whatever. Just focus on yourself, do your thing, and just show up. Love it. And just give full effort. I think giving full effort in whatever you do is huge. Yeah. I think once you put in more effort, things go way more. It's that extra rep. Yeah. It's that separates you from other people. You know what I'm saying? And then as far as people coming into college, you know, nowadays, if I had to give one advice to someone coming in looking to play in college football, I would say go where you can play. That number, hands down. Yeah. Because now you have the transfer portal where you can play, put on good film, transfer to a higher school. Yeah. And start to play right then, right? Exactly. Schools are looking now to pick people up out of the transfer portal to start. Yes. And so if you're a high school kid, go where you'll play. And you're saying, like, go to Weber. Yeah. The best player on BYU's defense is Jack Kelly, who was at Weber. At Weber. Like, go to Slick, or not Slick doesn't have a baseball team. No, I mean, go to Dixie, like, go to SUU, go to these teams you can develop. For sure. Because big schools like Cal,
they have a hard time developing kids anymore, right? Because they're focused on the kids who already developed and creating a team that's going to win now, right? That's kind of the mentality of these bigger teams. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it all just, it's hard with the transfer portal. Yeah. And I think everyone's starting to realize that. And so if you're a kid in high school go somewhere where you can play, you can transfer up. Yeah. And chances are, if you're a good player down there and you transfer up, there's some money tied to that too.
Oh yeah.
So that's even better. But once you're a kid, like if you're a kid and you have offers from all these big schools and you go to a big school and you're sitting for 2 years, then you have to transfer down. Yeah. It's just hard. Like it's harder to work your way up than to go than down, if that makes sense.
Yeah, totally.
And so just going somewhere you'll play, even if it's a smaller school and it doesn't have all the bells and whistles, but
that's great advice.
It's way better. I mean, some people even take the JUCO route and it works out.
Because now you can get 2 years JUCO that don't count against your eligibility.
Yeah, JUCO rules are
Dudes are going to be 29 playing college football. All the BYU kids are like, we've been doing this for years, bro. We can do this. But dude, that's crazy. Well, Cade, thanks for being on, man. Appreciate you. Best of luck. If you want to, seriously go follow. He's such a good follow, such a good dude. And I'm glad to call him my friend. And anyway, go follow him. Check him out. Plays for Cal. Awesome athlete and a great dude. So thanks again for being on.
Yeah,
I appreciate you sharing
the
information.
Thank you.
Yep.
Perfect.
Okay.